is on Ontario road maps. The Ontario road map has two sides. The first side is that of Southern Ontario. The second side is that of Northern Ontario. The Ontario road map uses something called the alphanumeric grid. The alphanumeric grid uses letters and numerals to identify squares in a grid pattern. Grid squares are identified by a letter on the side of the map and a number on the top or the bottom of the map. For example, if we were to take this square right here, this square is known as M14. You'll notice that the letter M is on the side and the 14 is above it. That's the number M14. Now, as stated, this is called the alphanumeric grid. Alpha standing for alphabet, numeric for number or numeral. Alpha comes first, numeral comes second. So, alphanumeric. Now, let's try to find the distance between two places. In order to do that, you must look for the red stars. Now, let's take grid M13, and you will notice that there is a red star right there. Now, in grid N13, you'll notice a red star there. Between these two stars, you'll notice that there is a red number. This red number is on its side, it's italicized, and it tells you the distance between the two stars. In this case, it is 96. So from the first red star to the second red star is 96 kilometers. Let's start right here and look at these stars a little closer. Let's look at this star right here in grid M14. And now let's look at this star just below it in grid N14. You'll notice between the two stars that there are actually two numbers. One number is 805 with a box around it. The other is 53. The correct number to choose would be the 53. You do not want to choose the 805. That is not italicized and it's not on its side. And if you were to look in the legend, you would see that's a highway. So again, you are only looking for the italicized numbers on the side. So let's take a look at this one over here. In grid L14, there's a star way up near the top. And then also in grid L14, you'll notice there's another star right by the OPP station. Well, if you look again between those two stars, there are two red numbers. The number you want would be the one on its side that's italicized, no boxes around it, no triangles, nothing. And that would be the number 33. I think by now you've probably caught on of the number you're looking for. Remember, if you find more red stars, you can start adding them together and you can start finding distances very easy without using the scale. Now let's move on to the legend. The legend is located on the map and it indicates a couple of things. First, road classifications. First, you can look at road classifications. You can see all types of roads. There's secondary roads, it shows the express toll roads, it shows King's highways, etc. Then you've got settlement patterns. Now this is settlement patterns by population, and you will notice looking at the legend that different symbols mean different things. You'll also see that the administrative section of the map is there, and the administrative section tells us where the international boundaries are, where cities and towns, where your regional municipalities are, etc. All done by different shading and different types of lines. You'll also notice the travel and tourist information. This is important information for you if you're traveling throughout Ontario and you're looking for things. It tells you stuff like where the GO stations are, Trans-Canada Highway, local and secondary airports, major airports, first aid stations, etc., etc., etc. Now, let's move on to the index. The index uses the alphanumeric grid and it tells us where places are. So here's a typical index of the Southern Ontario. First thing to notice is that the places go in alphabetical order, and it gives only the alphanumeric grid. So the brackets beside each place, for example, Burk's Falls, 862, that gives us the population, the town size. Or you might notice the brackets around Amherstburg, which is 19,600, or Brampton, which is 280,000. So those are just giving you population sizes. Now this is the distance flow chart. How the distance chart works is very, very simple. You will notice that the places are located along the side. These places are located in alphabetical order. So let's say you want to know how far it is from Cornwall to Toronto. Well, it doesn't matter which one you do. You could choose Cornwall first, you could choose Toronto first. It just doesn't matter which place you want to start at. But let's just, for argument's sake, start at Toronto and find Toronto and then work your way up. Just like the arrow shows you in the line, work your way all the way up those numbers. Find Cornwall and then go along Cornwall and you go along its box. And as you see, you will eventually come to a number and they collide. In this case, where the square meets is the actual distance, and it's 435 kilometers. So that's how far you'd find it from Toronto to Cornwall. This is a great idea for looking for places of a great deal of distance away from each other. You can even find some places outside of Ontario, such as Montreal. Although there are many aspects to the Ontario road maps, this particular one is the last one I'd like to discuss, and that's the enlargements. You will find enlargements on the road map off to the side or off to the top. These enlargements, the purpose of these enlargements are to show more centrally what the city looks like. And that's basically it for the road map section and this little tutorial on road maps. Hope you found it interesting and it helps you answering some of your basic questions.